Hello guys, and welcome to the track guide video, LMP3 Championship this week, which track is Road America. It's probably my favorite track on iRacing, definitely one I perform very well at. So I was really excited to do this lap guide. I did one full stint. Takeaways are, as always, the car is a lot faster at the end of the stint. Tire wear wasn't an issue, but seeing that this week is 75 minutes, it's definitely to see if you get some tires in the pits. Because you do feel it at the end of the stint, but it's just a bit more loose. It's also low. It's just off a little bit, so it gets a bit more loose. But this combo, for me, it felt exactly like I thought it would feel. It's one of the more easier cars that I've driven. It's like I've got a lot of LMP2 here, and that car needs a lot more finesse than this one. Main pain points are, as always, the front understeer. So that's, but America has a track where you need to some exits a lot. So you have a lot of long straights after, but we'll get to that into the guide. As always, I'll show you my raw lap first. My lap was a 58.198, and my optimal was a 50.0. So pretty close to my optimal. I think I think a 57 is in there, but I didn't push too hard. I just wanted to stint in. You know, I didn't want to try hard too much. So it's a good lap. So you something with. So as always, I'll show the raw lap first, and then we'll do a chase video and another cockpit video. Talk you through. So to the lap now.
Sector 2 time is okay.
Do it this time, pit this time, pit this time. Don't forget to pit this lap for more fuel. That was your fastest lap of the
You've just done a 1.
And that was the lap. I will to my iRacing and we'll have a look. See if it's the correct lap. So, coming up to T1. Braking zone for me is basically on the three cones, maybe a meter behind, but just aim for the three cones. You brake, not too hard. See, pretty hard. Sorry. So like 80% peak brake, but as you see, it's very short. It's a very short peak brake, and then you just bleed off and switch to trail braking because T1 and 2 both are very understeery corners, and you just want to get on throttle as early as you can on exit. So I bleed off pretty hard, turn into trail braking. Um, I didn't expect it, but in this car you can really attack the inside curbs. Like in the LMP2 or the LMDH, this curb is basically death if you go too hard over it because the car will bottom out, but the LMP3 seems to take it very well. So use as much as you can because the more track you use here on the inside, the more you get on the outside, and you will need it on the outside because this car just tracks out so much naturally. And as you see here, I switched from trail braking to a little bit of throttle. And as you see here, like I'm full throttle here, and this is Road America basically. It's a lot of tracks basically, but at Road America, like you have so many long straights after fast corners, so you need to be able to go on throttle super early. So I'm full throttle here, and this is just like you need to figure this out, like when you need to get the feeling that you know when you can throttle because it's very important. I see here quite a lot of steering input, but just never more than like 90 degrees, like it's less than 90 degrees, and you want the least amount of wheel input as you can get. But this is one of my last laps of the stint, and the car gets very light, and it actually turns a little bit more understeery for some reason. So I ended up having to turn a little bit more than I want to, but I made the corner and it's fine. But as you see here, like you want your left side tires on this patch right here. Just always be careful at Road America. The 1X always starts when the patch ends. If you hit the sand, there's 1X basically on every corner. So that's something you need to get back within the track limits before this ends. As you see here, like I just slide next to it, and my wheels are on this concrete. That's fine. Turn 2, my braking zone is this white line, a little bit after, but start just aiming for this and then you can get a feel on how much you can push it. Because this is the first ones of the corners that is really important because there is a very long straight after this. So it's 90% about exit in this corner. So you start braking, again, pretty heavy braking zone, but again, same as T1, you brake, your peak brake is very short, and then you start trail braking. Again, trailing, till you reach the apex. Again, I reached the apex very early, like before the actual midway of the corner. And then you just get this throttle buildup. Like you're just feeling when you can go full throttle. Don't go hard on the throttle too early because like, the harder you throttle, the more understeer this car generates. So you want to get your corner in. The car needs to start turning. Oh, I'm sorry, my sim up thing is in the way. Let me move that. There you go. So yeah, so you want to feel out your throttle here. Don't go too aggressive on throttle mid corner because you will just start understeering and it's gonna hurt your lap times a lot. So here, throttle plateau once more. As I've always said, like hover at 70% till you feel that your car is fully ready to go, and then you transition to full throttle. As you see here, the moment you start transitioning to full throttle, the car just wants to go straight into the trees there. So you just need to time this moment. Then there's this very aggressive 1x here again on the dirt patch. So be sure your car is back on track before you reach this point, because it's a very easy 1x to get. And of course, like if you do that corner correctly, you carry the speed along this, like the whole straight. You stay in 5th gear for this one, just about. And here we are. My braking reference is the 3 board, but your braking point is more like between the 3 and the 2. I think a bit more towards the 3 than towards the 2, but it's around the middle of it. It's about here, so I'd say it's 250 meters basically, or whatever measurement they use here, but it's in the middle of the 2 and the 3. Again, a very heavy braking zone, but the difference in this one is it goes downhill. So it's a pretty sketchy braking zone, and if you feel like you cannot brake this late, it doesn't really matter. It's better to brake a bit earlier and to not get loose into the corner itself, because that is something that can easily happen, because you put a lot of load in the car and you're going downhill and it's a very tight corner. So just feel out what's most comfortable and especially most reliable, because this is one of the points where you can mess up quite hard and maybe crash. So, but my braking zone is in the middle of the 3 and the 2. Here, heavy braking. I'm almost reaching 100%. I'm saying it's like 93, and this one is sustained a lot more because you're actually slowing down here. You know, T1 and 2 is just to slow down a little bit and get the nose in and go. But this one you actually need to slow down a lot, and it's downhill, so you're braking a lot. But you do feel the rear, just gets a little bit loose here, so you need to control that. So heavy braking, as you see here, I'm extending the track by a lot. So I have my left side tires on the white stripe, basically. I don't know exactly what the limit is, but if you go too far to the right, there is either an off track or a slowdown. I can't remember because I never get it, because I don't do this. There are people that exaggerate this very much to the right, but I think this is more than enough. I don't think you need more. So just make sure you keep your left side tires either on the road surface or on the white line, and then you're absolutely fine. But you do need to do this because you need to make your corner bigger. So I'm starting to trail off my brake here a little bit already. And as you see here, this is basically my turning point. The little notch in the curb here. So that's where I start turning. Do not start turning too aggressively. Now it's like I do one single motion. It's like a 45-degree rotation to start. Because if you yank your wheel too hard here, you will unbalance the car. The TC is going to kick in, and again, TC is your worst enemy in this car, so you just don't want it. So a little bit trail braking, just to keep the weight on the nose. Start turning, and then yeah, of course, when you reach the apex, you start turning a little bit more. And as you see here, if you watch my steering inputs, like even I the car gets a little bit unsettled because you see me moving around with the steering wheel a little bit. It gets a little bit unsettling, but it's an icy corner. Let's call it that. It is the rear gets pretty loose there, but it's not super dangerous. But yeah, you just feel it. And then for mid corner, you want to hit this yellow and red curb. Of course, you want to be as close to the inside as you can get. Do not touch the grass like you can. There's not a 1x there, but again, it unsettles the car. DC kicks in. You don't want this. So get as close as you can. Get all your turning done before the midpoint of the corner, basically. And from here on out, like when you leave the curb, you want to start straightening out your wheel because this is where you want to get on throttle. Because this straight doesn't look like much, but again, like all these little straights and big straights, there's a lot of time to be gained on corner exit. It's just how it is. So here I'm 75% throttle, so I'm applying a plateau to my throttle because I'm still steering a lot. Don't want to go full throttle, DC kicks in, lap time is over, it's done. So wait till you straighten out your wheel. It's instantly when I feel that I start turning my wheel straight, I go full throttle and the car just launches. Here again, you have a lot of room here. There is a 1x somewhere, but you can even touch a little bit of gravel here and you still don't get a 1x. So take as much track as you need. Try not to touch the gravel, of course. But yeah, you can use all of this. It's fine. And then we go back on track. This corner, for me, it will always be one of, like, this is probably my favorite track. But this corner is probably one of my least favorite corners on iRacing. Just because I drive a lot of non-ABS cars, and braking uphill in a blind corner is very tough. You get a lot of front micro-locking your tires, which affects the corner, affects your tire wear in the long run. So I always prefer just to take this corner easy. You you really want to pay attention to the micro locking of your car. You will feel it, and it's fine. Like you can drive through it, but it is just costing you lap time. It causes a lot of tire wear, and especially because this is a 75% race, that's going to be an issue. So, and the car gets very loose when you go over the crescent of the hill, basically. So, and that's exactly where your turning point is. So, it's a very sketchy corner, in my opinion. So, we take it easy. I don't. I'd say for braking reference, start braking around the first radical sign here. That's a little bit later. So, halfway through or against the second one. But again, I say here like rather take it easy than go hard in this corner because it's kind of pointless. So you brake no more than 50% I'd say because it is uphill and your car gets very loose the moment it transfers from going uphill to being flat again. So I'd prefer for you guys, for anyone, for myself as well, to just brake less but longer because it's just more safe. So it's 50%, and then you, of course, you start going into the trail brake phase again. Again, you can attack the curb very hard here. And as you see, I'm already starting to throttle a little bit again. I don't. This is definitely a driving style bound to me. Like I am a very early throttler, and it doesn't always work. So if you want to take a bit more speed into the corner and roll it through, that's absolutely fine as well. This is just the way I drive, and it's not super beneficial, especially with this tire model, because this is something that ruins your tires. You use a lot of fuel doing this, but it's just the way I drive. Like anyone who's seen me drive on stream with David can confirm this. We always know that I use a lot of fuel, I use a lot of tires, and that's very much thanks to this. Like I just love to be on throttle everywhere. But so it doesn't really matter how you do it. If you do it like this, or you just roll through the corner with a bit more speed into it. But just be very careful with your throttle here because this is a pretty understeery corner. I use second gear. I tried third. It's third is doable and it's a bit more safe, but it is very much on the limit. If you don't take enough speed into the corner and you're in third, you do bog down and you lose time. So I just prefer to use second because it's more consistent for me. So again, building up the throttle until your wheel goes kind of straight, and then you can go full throttle. Here again, this road is there to be used. Just be careful because again, on exit here, on the gravel is a 1x. So just make sure you get back on the track before the end of that. This kink is easy flat. I lifted a little bit at my outlap basically because I thought I needed it, but I think it's flat all the way through its stint. It's fine. But there's still time to be gained here because you want as less steering input as possible. So you start out very wide here. Look, I'm like almost on the grass here. Just don't touch the grass because you will die. And you want smooth inputs. Turn as least as possible. Use all the curb here because again, this car handles the curbs at this track like a champ for some reason. And yeah, minimal steering inputs. Go through the corner. Use all the track, and it's fine. This one again. Sorry about that. This corner again, very tricky braking zone. Probably also a very difficult corner for most people. It goes downhill, so braking is very tough. Once again, you need to brake a lot earlier than you think in this corner because it's also a lot tighter than you think. So for me, the aim is the 3 board, basically. Maybe a little bit after, but just aim at the 3 board, start braking. Again, it's downhill, so I use a lot of braking force, so it's almost 100%. There's no chance of locking. So you are going downhill, so the compression is it's very high. So locking is very difficult in the corner, but it's difficult to slow down. That's why I'm braking so hard. And you want to take a lot of speed off for this corner. So turn-in point, this white line, I'd say, still straight here. At the line, start turning. Again, you can attack this curb by a lot. It's just you need to be mindful. Look, you can see it here. There's a very big dip into the ground here, so you will feel that. It does unsettle the car a little bit, but you need to use this, otherwise the corner is just too tight. So just be careful mid corner. There is a bit of a dip in the curb, and it does unsettle your car a little bit. Here, this is my rookie mistake. I'm braking and throttling at the same time. Do not do this. So I'm trail braking. I'm going off the brake like right about now, I guess, and feeling the throttle out again. Again, I hover at 70, 75% throttle, waiting until I can straighten out my steering a bit, and then going full throttle. You really drift out pretty hard here. It's just how the corner is made. So at this point, you think, oh, I'll make it easily, but let's see where I end up. Like I end up right over here. Again, concrete patch here. If you touch this gravel, it's a 1x. So get back on track before this point. The carousel is, I've tried a couple different methods and they all kind of work. So you can what I'm doing now and what I've settled on is releasing the throttle almost fully. Because with any sort of throttle input, it just gives you understeer, you know, it's just how it is. Like you can go faster through it, but you'll end up more to the outside. And I think doing it this way, so just going off throttle, letting it roll through, basically, it will give you the least amount of tire wear because this car is very understeery on the exit, and you're fighting the wheel a lot, and that's definitely causing front tire wear. So as you see here, like I'm rolling this whole way I'm rolling, just let the car roll. Then when I feel ready, I start to throttle a little bit. I do keep it very tight here. I think I kept it a bit too tight because as you're seeing here, I am fighting the steering wheel already, like very hard. You're full throttle and turning a lot, so this is gonna kill your front tires if you do this the whole race. But this was in the last laps of my stint, so I was trying to get lap time. But it's better if you were a little bit wider here, and then you can straight line out because then you need a lot less steering input, and that should be way better. As you see here, I'm fighting my steering wheel all the way through, and this is just not the best way to do this. But it gave me lap time at that moment, so F it, you know. But again, a lot of people don't realize, but this is the longest straight on the track coming after a carousel. So the carousel is a very, very, very important corner to get right, especially the exit. Want to get the exit right because this is where the overtaking is gonna uh, take place into Canada corner, the next corner after this whole bit, because this is just the longest straight. Because the straight runs all the way, like I'm full throttle here, and I'm full throttle all the way onto Canada corner. So the kink is of course easy flat, like no stupid GT3 nonsense where you have to lift. I do switch to sixth gear here. Speed wise, it doesn't matter. Like if you stay in fifth or you go to sixth, it's the same thing. I think if you're in draft of someone, you will have to swap to sixth. Uh, but I've tested this quite a lot, and for me, the ideal gearing point is 254 kilometers an hour. That's like if you want to use six, that is where you should. That's it. It's just the best. But 256 was my top speed in fifth and in sixth, so it doesn't really matter. I just like to use sixth because of the next corner, so I get 3 downshifts instead of 2, which it's just easier for me. Get a bit more engine braking under shifting, and for my rhythm, it's a hard braking zone, so I need multiple downshifts basically. But you can do whatever you want. Um, Braking zone. Canada corner is again a deceiving corner. Like it's very tight on exit, so you want to brake early. So I'm braking. My braking reference is the fourboard, but the actual braking is like between the 4 and the 3. Heavy braking zone. Again, I'm almost reaching 100%. This car just for me doesn't lock for some reason. I can use a lot of braking force. But you cannot sustain it very long. So this is peak brake, and then you need to be bleeding off pretty early. Again, here I'm already transitioning to trail braking. And basically just after the one board, let's say here is where your turning point starts. Again, you want to attack this curb a lot because you will need everything on exit because this is such a tight corner. It's insane. So use as much as the curb as you can, but do not touch the gravel because that will unsettle the car a lot. TC kicks in once more, and yeah, it's just bad. Just don't want to do this. It's a third gear corner. third gear exit, I mean. Um, you're a bit low in the revs, but you definitely need third. Like second is not helping whatsoever. Again here, I'm turning a lot, so again a throttle plateau of about like 60%. Going, 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 and you see as soon as I start to straighten the wheel, I go on throttle, and you're gonna need to use everything of this because yeah, you just need to. Again here, oh sorry, the very nasty 1x here on the gravel. I think this part is still safe, but you just want to aim for getting your car back on track before this ends because it's such an annoying 1x to get, especially in qualifying. So yeah, I just ride this a little bit and this was fine, but there is a very easy 1x here, so just make sure you get back on track. The mini kink, again, in this car, easy flat, easy flat. Maybe the first 1 or 2 laps you need to lift a little bit here because you have to cold tires, but like later on in the stint, this is very easily flat. Just make sure you attack the curb on the inside here, so you need as less steering input as possible. So you don't want you can track out to this, but there's a very nasty bump at the end of this, so I just prefer to take it tighter on the inside and just avoid this whole curve because this stuff here unsettles your car quite a bit. It's better not to go on there than go on there. And then the last corner, again a very important corner because the second longest straight, of course, the start-finish straight is right after this, so you need a good exit. Um, Visual reference is with this weather it's kind of hard to see, but when you're driving it's pretty easy to see. You see here the switch in concrete. That is basically your braking point. Maybe a little bit later, but that's just how much you want to push it. So you want to brake. You see me, I'm turning in here, but when I start braking, I straighten out my wheel because you want to brake in a straight line. You want to go as far to the outside as you can because you want to yeah, just extend the corner. You want to make it yeah, easiest drivable, of course. So brake in a straight line. Don't brake too hard. You don't want a lot of load on your car here. You just want to kind of roll it through. Then, so your left side tires should be on this curbing. Just don't go too far because you will die. It's a mistake I've made countless of times. So keep a bit of a safe area, but you want to be as far to the left as you can. Here I'm starting to trail brake. Again, you want to attack this curb a lot, as you see here. Like I'm almost touching the grass. You can use all of this. Again, don't use the grass, of course, but get as close as possible. Again, a throttle plateau because I'm still fully turning. This is also like you need to gauge where you can go full throttle because the earlier you can go full throttle, the better lap time you will get because the straight is so long. So here, because it's high speed, I can get away with full throttling and turning a lot. But of course, this generates understeer, so you need to weigh the options you have. But you want to go on throttle as early as you can. Very understeery corner. Like, look, I think I even hear the gravel here. You know, when I exit this, so I was bang on the limit. But yeah, if you want to get lap times, you need to be on the limit at this track. It's just how it is. And again, here, same as everywhere. Be sure to go back on track before the concrete ends, because I think there's a 1x here somewhere. I don't know. And then it's a straight dash to the line. Should be a very good racing track in these cars because we still have quite a bit of draft. And of course, there's a lot of straights here, so I think the racing is going to be amazing here. I really do. I hope I can make it myself. I'm not sure yet. My Sundays are pretty busy, so Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been around yet, but I'll try to make this one for sure. And I will watch the chase lap real quick, talk you through it. It's done. So quickly, T1, braking zone, 3 cones. Do not slow down too much, just keep the weight on the nose. Start turning in at this line basically here. Just curb the line, whatever you prefer. Attack the inside curb by a lot, as you see here. Like I am basically perfectly on the line. If I go a bit more to the right, I actually touch the gravel and you lose a lot of time. But this is perfect. So utilize all the track inside and outside. Full throttle to turn 2. Turn 2, the 3 board, but even easier is the line here, just a little bit after. Again, make the corner very wide, stay on the left for a long time before you start turning in. Attack the inside curb and use all the track. This corner, remember it's downhill braking, so it's a bit more sketchy. Reference 3 board braking zone is somewhere in the middle here, maybe a bit more to the back if you don't feel comfortable braking very late. Very hard braking zone. Use all the track here. As you see, just I think you just need to keep your left side tires onto the curb, basically, but make the track as wide as you can. Then it's that yeah. This notch is your turn-in point, basically. Attack the inside curb. The car feels very rotaty at the rear here, so just keep your car in check. Don't steer too much. Don't do anything too aggressive. This corner, soft braking. As you see here, like, I don't know if you can see this, but I am micro locking as well here. See the tire marks there. A little bit trail braking, throttle plateau, wait till you can go full throttle. Use all the track. This one is easy flat. This corner, downhill braking once more. Aim for the 3 boards. I brake a little bit later, but the 3 board is always my aim. Hard braking zone once again because it's downhill. A lot of trail braking. Throttle, throttle, throttle until you feel ready to go full. The carousel, I prefer to lift off entirely at the starting stages of this. Just lift off entirely until you feel your car coming back to the inside, and then you can start throttling again, basically. So again, just carousel is very important because this is the longest straight on track. The kink, easy flat. I use 6th, you don't have to. Here, difficult braking zone between the 4 and the 3 boards. Start braking. Very high brake percentage once more. Attack the inside curb. Use all the exit road so you can straighten out your wheel as fast as possible. I have no idea how this was in the 1X, but this must have been like millimeter close because you basically don't want to do this. You don't want to drag your tire through here, but whatever. So it counted. So, but I wouldn't take the risk, especially in quali and stuff. Mini kink, easy flat, turn as less as possible, and here use the changing concrete to start your braking zone. Stay to the left, brake in a straight line, then start turning basically at this line. Start trail braking, attack the inside curb, and use all the exit road once more. That is a lap around Road America. I hope you have fun Sunday, guys. This track is just amazing. It is one of my favorite tracks, IRL and in iRacing. It just has a little bit of everything, in my opinion. So I love doing this track out for you guys. I always do, but this track is a bit special for me. So yeah, I hope you have a good race on Sunday. Uh, race hard, but race clean. Stay within your own limits, and just have a good time, guys. I'll see you next time.